It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night, I should be sleeping like a log. But when I get home to you, I find the things that
Welcome to week 9 of the BEBC
BS
Podcast, following a hard day's night for the Allen Eagles. Another victory in the books, still undefeated at home, but it wasn't easy.
Nope.
And they faced a pretty stout Coppell team, which took them down to the fourth quarter. Character builder.
Yep.
Yep.
I think it was one of Allen's, the best well-rounded game we played this year.
Definitely.
But we're sadly to say we're missing one of our guys. Poor Allen.
Oh,
He's in
Amsterdam.
or somewhere in between.
Yeah, getting a little coffee.
He was very much appreciative that the old coach was
Broadcasting.
and picked up there, so he got to listen to the game anyway.
Actually stayed up all night, didn't he?
Yeah, he
he
did.
did.
So shout out to the old coach for taking care of one of us being far away. Yeah, he was up at 2:30 in the morning,
Oh, my God.
turned it on, and he had I think a 6 o'clock call to get on his flight, come back home. So Allen might be zombie, but he was able to hear the game and was providing us commentary as we sat there. So that was pretty cool. So a 35-23 victory by the Eagles over an undefeated Coppell team. Guess we can just hop right in and just general overview. Like Thad said, he thought it was the most complete game the Eagles have played all year, but let's break it down a little further. Let's start on the offense, because we had our thoughts on the offense last week and the ineptitude.
Yep.
And I think we have background music. I think it sounded a little bit better. I think it was a little bit better last night. Not perfect by any means, but
I think it's a turnaround by Grant. Had a much better game this week than last week.
A little better decision making, some better runs.
Yeah. I mean,
469 yards of offense, and a lot of that came on the passing side for the first time all year.
passing, the passes dropped right in there. And one dropped right through Theo's hand.
Yeah, once Theo started extending his arms, he was off to
Then
the
he
races,
retracted
man.
them.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we've all had a little bit of alligator arms at times, but he did come back with a couple touchdowns after that.
Yeah.
Grant was 10 of 14 for 204 yards, no picks.
His decision making this week was a lot better than last week. I mean, the scramble he had was
That was crazy. I got to tell you,
that was fun.
I'm going to post a video of that thing. He absolutely caused a woman in the stands to lose her mind.
It was
What's
definitely
going on? What's happening?
It was crazy.
And all this being done with two backup linemen on the left side, and did a serviceable job, and that helps further on down the line. You just create more depth. Sometimes injuries are never a good thing as far as that individual is involved, but it does help the team sometimes when kids are able to step up and what's the old saying?
Next man up.
Next man up gets his shot, and it proves that they're dedicated to being ready. Even though they don't get the playing time prior to that they might think they should get or whatever.
It just shows to go. You got if you're a backup, you've got to be ready to go in at a moment's notice. Ask Tucker Carter that. I mean,
you're always one play away from being that guy. So kudos to those young men for doing their thing.
And so for any of you novices out there who are wondering, why are they always running around the right side? Well, Thad just told you why.
Yep. Our two starters on the right side, they were in motor grader mode last night, and pushing some guys back. And we also did a great job of getting to the corner. Brock was able to do his thing, and once he got to the second level, his partner in crime, Theo Weiss, was doing a great job of maintaining his block. I won't say holding his block, because
that became an
field
issue.
Judge back there thought every time Allen had to snap the ball, he needed to throw a flag for some reason. So
Yeah, well, that brings up the refs. So, Nolan, what do you think about the refs?
we're just a little outside.
Really?
All right,
Well,
Nolan,
really?
thanks for that. Really?
469 yards total offense, which I think is their high for the year for three games. So,
And it could have been a lot higher. I mean, honestly, with penalties and just some of the calls that were made, et cetera, they were on fire. There was a couple scores that came back, and we think unnecessarily, but
There was a much better rhythm to the offense. I'll say
absolutely.
that.
Good point.
And, and that I know a lot of offensive coordinators, they want to set things up. And in order to get those plays that you want set up, you have to do, your base stuff. And the play action was it was working last night. The line was able to keep the pocket clean, and Grant threw some beautiful passes. We hit some crossing stuff. We hit some intermediate stop stuff to get some first downs to keep drives going. And then Carson and Theo were able to get over the top of the defense with great routes. And it was just a combination of everybody doing their job.
Yeah, and
Pretty complete.
They were led greatly. That first pass to Carson, I thought, oh my gosh, that's going to be 10, 15 yards over his head. And Carson took off like a jet.
Laid it right in there.
That ball came down just beautifully and perfect right into his hands.
Seamless.
That little gap between the athletic facility and the corner of the stadium created that draft just to hold that ball up just enough, because that's where the wind was coming. It did. It looked like one of my pitching wedges in from 120 out.
And the gap between Carson and that defender was about
It was
6-7 yards.
yeah, Carson. That's the one thing I noticed with both Theo and Carson last night. Those
They got
DBs were
separation.
overmatched. They were,
Well,
separation.
and with Grant, if you'll notice, he's had some issues with short throws, a little bit short, but the throws were perfect. The receivers could take him in stride.
Yep.
He was on fire. It was good.
It was good to see. There, it wasn't perfect by any means. There's you still scratch your head on some of the stuff they tried to do, and to me, getting a little cutesy when they don't need to. And, just like the boys, the coaches are going through whatever they're going through, growing pains or trying things, and sometimes you keep it simple, and it works out better for you. And
they're not going to tell you what they're doing,
No.
but they're trying some stuff out in non-district.
Yeah.
And,
personally, I think the rest of the schedule for the rest of the year, I mean, they've played their tough games until playoffs come.
well, I don't know, man. Plano's looking awful
I knew
tough
you were going to
this year.
say that.
McKinney.
Oh,
Yeah.
McKinney, yeah.
They're looking good.
I'm not buying it.
The Lions.
That's just me.
To go back to the play calling, I remember that last drive when we put that touchdown up. It was 3rd and like 3 or 4, and I said it out loud. I said, "Alford, call your best play." I mean,
did.
the
I
best play
I heard him say it.
that you have in your playbook, and they did. I mean, they just pounded it right at him, and Brock got the first down.
And it's funny you should say that, because I turned to James, because if you remember, the 2 plays before that were both quarterback keepers.
Right.
And I was like, James, why are they not giving the ball to Brock? He's your best weapon out there from a running perspective.
best
Why
blocker
are
on
you
that
let him
play.
pound it, man.
Yeah, let give it, and they gave it to Brock. He went around the end. Theo made the block at the goal line. It's a touchdown. So it's funny how we think the same being 40 yards apart. That's
It's kind of
that's why
scary.
I'm saying it seems pretty simple, because we figure it out, and then I don't know what's going on.
What did you think, Nolan?
Well,
It was just a little bit outside. Really?
we appreciate. I don't even know what to say to that. But anyhow, the offense came alive last night. Brock with another solid game, 157 yards rushing. I was surprised by that myself when I looked at the box score. I'm like, I know he chipped away, and he ended up with a $157. Grant had 98 on the ground with a couple
Oh, Grant was leading the rushing there for a while.
for the first half.
Yeah, that one play sideways, back and forth. He got quite a bit of
He
yards
ran
on that play.
about 250 for 98,
Yeah.
I think. But it was a good night on the offensive side of the ball. No turnovers, which is always a plus. Penalties are are there. They had 10 last night. A couple of those on the defensive side and on special teams. So you can't really say they killed the offense too much with penalties. But those kids, they did better, and they needed to. Because on the defensive side of the ball, it was good, but not what we've seen the first 2 weeks. And
when there were a couple pass interference calls, probably justified, but then there were a couple really good plays where the defenders were turning around, actually making a play on the ball. Totally legit, had an interception in the end zone.
That was a great play.
Yeah.
And this was definitely our opponent that has had the most balanced offense. Scheme-wise, I have to give a little shout-out to my brother-in-law. I thought he called a pretty good game for Coppell's offense. They had some design runs that were cutbacks, and they seemed to get 4 or 5 yards out of that when they needed to.
Well, they got that cutback idea from Grant when he was running back in the field.
Jay probably called down and said, "Hey, do what 14 did."
yeah, exactly.
But their running back Ryan Hurt was pretty. He's a gamer.
Locomotive.
Yeah, he was. And I tell you, the other thing that struck me is Brady McBride when they were throwing those out routes, out patterns, just quick.
Yeah,
what's that running back's name?
Ryan Hurt.
Yeah, he's Jack Fee on Advocare.
There you go. Got to get the Advocare plug in for Coppell. Yeah, McBride threw for 191 with 1 touchdown on a very nice pass. It was right in front of us. Lobbed it in over everybody.
Yeah.
He began in the second half, especially started running for his life a little bit, and it obviously got tougher.
Yeah.
The defensive line did their thing again as far as rotating in so many different guys.
Yeah.
Fresh legs.
They started to get that step that they needed in the second half. And
you could see it in the second half. Didn't you?
I mean, every time you looked up, the 97's going in, 99's coming out. This just guy after guy. And, those were some big old boys they were having to lean up against for Coppell. They were very well orchestrated offensive line, and but the quickness of our D finally was able to take hold a little bit better in the second half, I thought.
Yeah.
Very critical when they did have, the block kick.
Yep.
They brought it down
and
got they were in to the 5 or something, ended up kicking a field goal outside the 10.
Great job on defense.
Yeah, they did.
That is, even though the momentum had shifted to Coppell, it kind of stopped some of that momentum when it's like left a little bad taste in their mouth. They come away with 3 instead of 7.
You knew they were hoping to punch it in.
That took some of the momentum back, and but the offense never missed a beat. For us, whenever the defense needed a little break, that we held on to the ball for a little while longer.
More than just one series, And shout out to Coppell's Caden Davis.
Jeez.
Excellent kicker, 50-yarder, and probably could have made from a little bit longer. He had 2 or 3 field goals. 3.
And pregame, it was funny. They all do it. Like when we had Limpert, they do their kicks before the game, and they would kick 40-yard field goals, 30 yards through the upright, seemed like, and but then you back them up, and they try to kick it a little harder, and it doesn't go as well.
It's like a knuckleball.
But he definitely, he kicked the 50, it was like a 50-yarder, and it went into the stands.
Yeah.
Little wind behind him, but that's
still,
it's a
really kickoffs. One kickoff was through the uprights and to the wall, so he had a leg on him.
Y'all want to get special players a little recognition. That
one before we go, I just want to mention this because it stuck out to me this morning. Coppell did rush for $126 last night, but only 2.9 per rush, and so even though it seemed like they had a
reasonable
lot of
amount,
they 2.9 won't get you a first down after 3. So the defense did play pretty well. Again, penalties kicked in, questionable calls.
We don't want to be ref complainers, but Coach Gamble.
Sure, we did.
Coach Gamble.
That's his. Coach Gamble had a fun night. I'll just say that. We'll get into that. It was, as James just mentioned, Go ahead, James. You were saying we're going to do what?
Yeah, well, much like some of the programs do, and game balls, teams that give game balls. Let's give shout outs to some of the different players out there. I'm going to give my shout out to Jaden Jernigan. Held it in the middle of the line and just absolutely, they were brutal and kept the pressure on constantly.
Yeah.
So shout out to Jaden.
I
Good
think
job.
Jaden opens up a lot of opportunities for the other boys on the lines because everybody.
Oh yeah, he keeps the linebackers clean as a whistle. He commands a double and even sometimes a triple team.
Yeah.
I noticed last night.
So he opened the doors for Austin and all those fellas last night. So
Where do you have that?
I have Mr. Luke Jackson, number 19, outside linebacker. The kid plays with a chip on his shoulder. He made a couple of mistakes with just, being aggressive. But if you're going to make a mistake, I'm sure most coaches say, make that mistake going 100 miles an hour. And he was an impact player on special teams, and he got his opportunity to step in and get more into the rotation on defense. And I think, matter of fact, he was the one that when the Coppell had gotten down there on the kick that clipped Mr. McBride's feet out from under him on the zone read.
Yes, sir.
Or maybe he was rolling out something. He was trying to get outside, and he came up and contained and made a good play and set the tone for holding them to 3 on that series. So, Luke Jackson.
there you go.
How about you, David?
My shout out goes to Coach Gamble. The way he was in the referee's face pretty much all night long. A lot of coaches, whether it be baseball, basketball, or football, will, say what they need to say to the referees or umpires or whatever they are to get them to acknowledge that, they're watching and maybe get a call pulled their way. But the calling last night was terrible by a certain referee, and Gamble was lighting him up. I mean, I had my binoculars on him, and he was red faced, and he wasn't having any of it.
Are you versed in lip reading?
Thankfully not.
Yeah, thankfully not.
We thought he was going to follow the refs into the
I thought you
locker
said
room.
at one point that Gamble looked dead at him and said, "One thing for sure, buddy, is you're not invited to Thanksgiving dinner."
Yeah, it was pretty intense, but that's my shout out. Thanks, Coach, for lighting him up the way you did. It was very comical.
How about you, Mark?
I just gotta go with Theo, and I know Theo's been waiting 3 games now to have what I would call a breakout game.
Definitely.
5 catches, 87 yards, two TDs. Could have been 3, but we won't get on you for that. You had 2, but good. I'm glad they got Theo involved like that. But the thing I was impressed with most last night was Theo's blocking. Because a lot of times you get wide receivers that love to catch the ball and but don't want to block. And on a lot of those runs that Brock had when he got to the edge,
Especially that last one.
Theo was there sealing it off for him, and he held his block
and when they're throwing penalties on him, we see it.
Yeah.
He was doing a good block, and that ref just
and so
missed the call.
For a complete effort by Mr. Weiss, not just catching the ball, he had a very good game, and I was glad to see him finally get involved. So my shout out to Theo, congrats, bud, and that's my shout out.
All right. Nolan, come
Nolan,
on. What do you think, buddy?
My game ball goes to Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray? What the heck?
He plays today, Nolan.
Oh. Well, I thought Kyler Murray's number 1.
Oh, that's Colton Manning.
Colton Manning. Did you see him light up number 42 for Coppell on the punt return?
No, I was in the bathroom.
No.
I was participating in some me time.
Really? Really?
Bless your heart, Nolan. In the middle of the game, you have to have me time.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
I guess the fajitas didn't sit that well with you, bro.
Yeah, that was that block. was, oh man, the whole
Be
crowd.
clear.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Be
if
clear.
Michael Florick from the Dallas Morning News had a video of that from the end zone, and when that happens, you can hear the crowd.
Yeah.
Well, you heard the crunch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Heard
So
plastic.
if all you guys can get on to Sports Day HS and see that video before it starts trying to charge you $2.95, go watch it. But
yeah, that was pretty. So game balls are out. Thanks, guys. We'll start doing that every week as we go forward. So it's an off week for the Eagles. Got some people that need to recuperate, heal up. Yeah, give them a chance. It was I look at it, and just looking back at the past 3 weeks, I think that was a very good non-district schedule. I mean, you got a little bit of everything in there. You faced a very athletic Cedar Hill team, maybe not quite where they need to be yet, but very athletic, and a very stout Evangel defense.
Man, a lot of LSU players and commits.
Oklahoma,
and D1.
yeah, they had 4 D1 commits on defense, which was a good test. And, Coppell's going to be there. I think they'll win their district. They got a pretty good team.
Yeah, they'll be in the playoffs.
Everybody stays healthy and all that. So I think from looking at it, they didn't play any teams with an East or a West in front of their name, so it was a pretty good non-conference schedule. So
But yeah, we're gonna have some district tests, man. I'm telling you, man.
We'll talk about that later. But anyhow, a week off, and then we come back for homecoming. Is that correct? Yeah, on the 29th against McKinney Boyd, who surprisingly they tested Coppell, and they beat Louisville in a wonderful game, 10-8.
10-8.
Yeah, snooze fest that might have been.
Yeah, 10-point difference in that McKinney Boyd Coppell game.
Must have been like watching a Katy game.
That might have been. It might have been.
Nolan, don't say that. You're going down to talk to Lance here in a couple of days.
So be aware that no one will be at the stadium this week.
Yeah, word to the wise: don't go to the stadium.
No one will be there.
I might just go by.
That'll be there if anybody wants to stop by.
Oh.
So anyhow, week off, and then they come back with McKinney Boyd, and we'll see what happens with that. Down on the farm.
All right. Last week we talked about a JV player, and I knew his number, didn't know his name, so I reached out to the FDN.
What's FDN?
The Football Dad Network.
Oh,
and found out
FDN. There you go.
That's a very important tool, folks. You find a football dad or any kid that you know that plays, and you snag them, and you find out who is. His kid's name's Lane Lewis.
Lane Lewis.
Yeah. So that we have that. That was. I didn't get to see the JV game this week. I went to the freshman game, and the freshman game was we were down 14-0. Coppell took the opening drive, went down the field. They kicked off to us. We proceeded to return it back to inside their territory, and the kid fumbled the ball. Coppell gets it again, chews up the rest of the first quarter, and 1 minute into the second quarter, Allen freshman team runs their very first offensive play down 14-0.
Wow.
Yeah, and proceeded to about 3 plays later, touchdown. Couple notables on that team. The quarterback is very good. I'll find out his name. I got to reach out to the FDN. But we have 2 receivers with a very familiar last name. Number 8 and number 9 are the Seth Green's younger brother twins, and they are beautiful looking athletes.
I saw them yesterday. They actually parked next to our tailgate, came out, and then I followed them into the stadium. It's amazing how tall those kids are.
Yeah.
They
Seth
grown.
was what,
They've
6'4", 6'5"?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. And I think they're going to get there too.
I think so. So that's pipeline dream right there, those kids.
So next year there's a chance that we could have 2 sets of twins on the field at one time. At receiver.
That's awesome.
I think Alfred might want to put that in, call it the twins package.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, you kill yourself.
And then that was the freshman score. 28-14, I think, is what it was with like 3 minutes left when I had to get home and get to bed. And the JV 1 score was 51-3. Mr. Braylon Sharp and a receiver named his last name is Sherfield. They lit Coppell up all night long. Then big play after big play, and so I'm just letting you know the pipeline is full, folks.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. Rumor has it this week. Who's got the rumor?
I don't know. Rumor has it that Alan has developed and is going to be marketing a new sports drink. And I think they're going to call it Knee Juice. And it's supposed to be real good for helping your chondroitin and your knees and all that stuff. We don't know what the ingredients are, but I hear that they were drawing some out at the facility.
Who's that distributed by? Do you?
I think it's like Carter's Little Pills.
Like Carter Stone's back pills.
That's it. It's gonna be Carter's Knee Juice. So look for that on your shelves.
Specifically for offensive linemen, right?
Well, yeah,
exactly.
That's it.
We'll get into our weekly college and pro picks, but I just wanted to say I'm looking at our. We still have one game. Katie plays at the Woodlands today, and that game has not happened yet. But out of all the other 4 games, only one person missed one game, and that was me. Everybody else picked every game right. So good job, guys.
And now everybody picked Katie except for.
Well, we're giving Thad a reprieve on that because he thought they were playing Westlake. So he actually is going to pick Katie.
Everybody's got Katie on this one, so don't let us down, Gary.
Yeah, come on, Gary.
Coach Josephs.
Make sure it happens. Yeah. All right, we'll start with I've got everybody's picks here, and we'll go from there. Let's see, Louisville and Clemson playing at Louisville. David?
Clemson.
Dad?
Clemson?
Yeah, it's Clemson. Clemson for me.
Yeah, Alan picked Clemson as well. He's, like I said, folks, he's traveling today. I picked Clemson as well. Nolan, what about you?
Clemson.
All right. Everybody across the board. Tennessee is visiting Florida.
Tennessee? The Gators get it done in the swamp.
Whoa.
Seriously?
I had that problem last time.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah.
Alan picks Tennessee. James?
I got Tennessee also.
I picked Tennessee. And Nolan?
I picked Tennessee because when I look at David, that's the only 10 I see.
All right.
What is it? The Battle of the Skillet? Is that what it is? TCU takes on SMU.
Yeah, I thought it was the Battle of Mommy's Money.
It might be that too. All right. David.
TCU.
Yep.
TCU.
Yeah, TCU for me.
Alan's got TCU. I have TCU. And Nolan?
TQ.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, TCU. Malaki.
All right. James's alma mater, Texas Tech, hosting Chad and Christian.
Yep.
Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Yeah,
yep.
Soon to be Brock out in Lubbock. So, David.
Not Tech.
Uh-oh.
Ah.
Thad?
Sun Devils.
All right.
I got Tech, man. You got to go with your alma mater.
Alan's got the forks up. I have Tech as well. And Nolan?
ASU.
Okay.
What? Nolan.
And the big game tonight on primetime, Texas travels to USC. James and I actually got to see Texas live last week. Saw some improvement, but I'm not quite sure if they're ready for this.
Bushell was out and Ellinger was playing, and he had some nerves at first, but he kind of dialed it in.
Never, ever vote for anybody but Texas.
But
I got to do it now.
You're picking
USC.
All right. Thad?
In honor of our missing member, fight on.
Fight on. It's another USC.
Yeah, I'm going with the Trojans.
Yeah.
They're going to get it done. Texas.
Alan obviously picked USC. Yeah. I picked USC. Nolan, what about you?
California.
California?
Yeah,
there you go.
He's got the...
On to the pros. We've got a really good Sunday night game with Atlanta hosting Green Bay. David?
Atlanta.
Thad, I know who you're picking.
Yeah, I got to go with my Dirty Birds.
There you go.
Yeah, I got Hot Atlanta. Quarterback is in my fantasy team, so I got to go Atlanta.
I picked Atlanta as well. Alan is the one, the center here. I think he picked Green Bay. Nolan, what about you?
I picked it. Atlanta.
Atlanta for Nolan. So, Alan, going out on a limb with Green Bay. The Giants on Monday night are hosting Detroit.
I hate the Giants.
Everybody hates the Giants.
Well, everybody picked the Giants.
Everybody hates the Giants, but it looks like everybody's picking the Giants.
Yeah, let's just skip it. Now we're going with everybody's
All
going
right,
with
Yeah, I don't even want to say it.
Okay.
Across the board.
Pittsburgh is hosting Minnesota.
You think Seth will
David.
play quarterback?
Not that Minnesota.
You know,
Is he starting, by the way?
No.
I thought I was real smart being the only one that picked Minnesota, and then now I hear Bradford's not going to play.
He might not play. I heard last night on the way home from the
That's-
game. He's got a
That's
knee
not
issue.
Cool.
Sammy.
So if I lose, I could change my pick, right?
Yes, you can
Okay.
do that. Yeah, he's picking Minnesota, by the way. Thad,
I'm going with Pittsburgh.
James.
To Pittsburgh, it's going to be a Roethlisberger kind of evening.
Alan picked Pittsburgh as well. I picked Pittsburgh, but, I just want to give a shout-out to my boy Dalvin Cook last week. Got to, man.
Man love.
127 yards, first NFL game, broke the Minnesota rookie rushing record for first game, and he looks every bit of a first-round pick that he should have been, but we'll get off that soapbox. Nolan, what
He's going
about
to be
you?
burger meat, man.
No, come on. Well, this game, yeah, he might be. Nolan?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. All right. Tom Brady looks to bounce back from a mediocre performance as the Patriots travel to New Orleans. David.
England.
All right. Thad?
Something I don't do very often, but I'm going with the away team and New England.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Giselle's husband and his team.
There you go, New
Yeah,
England.
New England.
Alan is picking New Orleans at home. I'm
Hopeful.
picking New England on the road because Brady's my wife's fantasy quarterback. So
And you love your
she
wife.
needs,
so-
she needs to have a good week because he let her down last week. Nolan, what about you?
Well, since I have a man crush on Tom Brady, and I'm picking New England.
There you go.
We're going shopping.
And
the boot outside.
a very interesting game in Denver. At 3:25 on Sunday, the Cowboys headed to Denver. David?
The boys.
All right.
Once again, I'm going with the road dog and going with the Cowboys.
There you go.
Yep.
James?
Zeke is still in there. The league has not shut him down yet, so I'm going with the Cowboys, Dak and Zeke. They'll get it done.
Okay. Alan picked Dallas. I will pick Dallas based on their defense. Well, quite an effort the
Oh.
other night, and
Yeah. Lee's healthy and on all
yeah,
cylinders.
Denver's offense doesn't scare me a whole lot.
Their
So
defense is
Not
pretty
anymore.
good.
yeah, Simeon at quarterback, he's up and down. I'm going to pick Dallas as well. Nolan?
Well, I think Aikman and Irvin going to give them just too much trouble all night long. The Cowboys.
Thank you, Nolan, for that. That's awesome. All right, we'll see how the pick'ems work out here. Again, we got a three-way tie for first now between David, Mark, and Thad, so we'll see how everybody does at the end of the week. Again, this is an off week coming up. Just to let y'all know, there will be a podcast next week, but
We'll be doing it from somebody's living room.
the Balding Eagles are taking a road trip, and we're going to go down and wear the colors and see what happens at the Katy Cinco Ranch game on Friday.
That's right.
So
We'll be
we,
flying them Allen colors proud and
And right in front of the gate.
yeah, we got permission to tailgate. We're going to go tailgate and do it our way, and we'll see how that goes. And our friend Lance, superintendent down there, has invited us to come on down, and he's been through a lot the last couple of weeks with everything going on with Hurricane Harvey. So we're excited to talk with him. He will be a special guest next Saturday on our podcast. So we're going to do it from Lance's living room. And
Rumor has it we're going to get some pretty bad looks.
yeah, odds are we're going to get the exclusive tour of the new Katy ISD football stadium. And Lance is going to take good care of us during the game and everything. So we'll be coming to you live from Katy
if we make it out of
if we make it out of there Friday night alive. And we'll let everybody know what we witness.
We'll be throwing in the first pitch.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
We'll see if we can get some some time with Coach Joseph and see why he won't play Allen.
And y'all please be nice to Garrett. That's Lance's little baby brother.
Yeah, Garrett loves us. We'll do our best. So anyhow, we'll be coming to you live next week from down that way, and we should have a good trip. So all y'all who are taking the week off, find another game. There's actually
Pretty good local games.
Yeah, someone told me yesterday they're going to the Frisco Liberty game. God, I can't remember who they're playing, but it's a good game, and it's going to be at the Star. And
Good
I gotta
luck
go
getting
there
one of
sometime.
those tickets.
so anybody wants to go see former Allen alum Kirby Bennett do
That's
his.
at Lone Star. He's at Lone Star.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I meant. I meant Lone Star, not Liberty. That made no sense. They play at the Star next Friday night. And, I can't remember who they said they were playing. But anyhow, that's next week. And we'll get back together, everybody, in 2 weeks for homecoming. And anybody else have anything before we go?
Not a thing.
Nope.
Appreciate
Thanks for-
your input, Nolan.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you.
and thanks to all the compliments on the board. We appreciate it. We're trying our best to make this informative and fun for y'all, and we appreciate the feedback. It's been good. So until next week, it's over and we're out.
Just a small town